I can do a quick one. Um, this is a continuation from what I showed a little bit last week on incremental promotion from a workbook. So I'm just in a fresh workbook. I'll just build a quick couple of changes. So we'll add the sum and the average. And thanks to Jared, we now have a pretty uh, layout for what these incremental changes are too, with now correct metadata about whether or not these things are additions or updates to existing model objects or removal of model objects as well. You can remove some of the changes. We've decided to require a branch change because the incremental update is a bit weird in our model. It can potentially depend on fields that aren't going to be coming with the change. So like in this case, this is a simple example. These are all kind of atomic changes. But if you create a view or if you create a field that's derived from another field, for example, too, the way that our promotion workflow works, it would go and grab all of the downstream dependencies and then pull them back in. But when you're doing incremental changes, it could potentially be really weird for a user to have, say, I've unselected a few fields and suddenly they're getting pulled in because they're downstream dependencies. We're sort of treating this incremental changes as if it's a advanced mode, and the way we want to protect the user is basically require a branch. So the promotion won't. We're still working on the workflow, but the promotion will require a branch to be able to actually do it. So I'll just create a simple branch to show everyone. Uh, here's a branch, and now I can actually update this. This will basically stage the changes to the branch. In theory, were you to potentially promote something that doesn't require or doesn't have all of the dependencies, you can sort of manage it in that branch process before you merge it in. But this is
So,
now.
Jamie, just to ask that, so that means if you just want to promote one field, you have to go through the branch to do it.
Yes, which I think we
Are
can
we
make.
committed to that?
I mean, I'm open to it too. It's just awkward otherwise. We want to make it really.
I almost feel like we're optimizing for the wrong side of the complexity in that I feel like the canonical thing is actually wanting to promote one thing that maybe doesn't interact with anything. And now you have to go through like a really complex workflow to go do that.
Potentially, it's hard though. I don't, we sort of have to solve for both use cases, simultaneously. I think the simple way to do it would basically be create a branch in effect from this change to be able to have some encapsulation or staged process. But I'm open. I don't really feel terribly strongly about it. I think it's something where we want to make sure it's easy for the default use cases, and like,
I,
there's
I would
there's
almost say like block incremental promotion if there's dependencies and literally don't even let people do it, but optimize for letting two fields come through out of five.
mm, that is not easy to do, or not
Okay,
as.
like we just don't know the dependencies exist, sort of.
We'd have to build more things to go and check that to be able to go do it.
Do we, I think, kind of do them right now if you right click promote a field? Is that not correct?
Yeah, that will pull in dependencies explicitly. So that will go through and pull it. We don't expose though if there's dependencies or not directly in any way on either the objects or in an API. So like it is possible to do. We certainly do know that, and we do know what it is. It's just not trivial to expose.
What's the concern about exposing it? Like you just want to show it to people?
No. You could. I mean, we just it's we basically this literally this button doesn't know whether or not these things have dependencies. We just have to build that in. We have to wire that in, which is possible. It's just not done now.
I see. So if you hit this button and it has a dependency, it won't work, right? It doesn't work the same way as like promoting the field
Right.
out of the field picker.
Yeah, it is a completely separate workflow because we don't.
Ah,
The way when we promote a field from the field picker, we do in fact actually go and travel all of the downstream dependencies. Or if we promote a view,
I
also,
see.
we
Okay.
basically we are it is truly a new promotion construct that we. It's a simpler promotion construct. It really is just taking the individual object and then adding it to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
the previous
I,
one.
I'm all. Could we? Is it crazy to allow you to promote a single thing in the left and actually do the same promote workflow?
No, it's not crazy at all. It's something actually I originally thought about building just like a little because we do have this, this
Yep.
promotion,
Because I
but
feel like it's almost this being buried that is the hard part, actually.
I think that there is like it depends actually. You even go to actually our Omnis instance. You actually go and look at most of the workbooks powering dashboards too. We've got a crazy amount of changes in most workbooks because people, don't promote it all. So like I think that there's two valuable workflows. There's potentially the promote individual thing, but then also promote a section of things that are valuable for
Yep.
folks, but not
Yep.
actually. And so like it may be that what we want to do is actually just have like a promotion, and I don't know, I'm gonna defer to Jared for sure on the UX, but maybe we want to have an individual promotion like thing here
Yep.
in addition to the sort of incremental things that are
Yeah. Just like a little arrow button that just shoots it down, sort of.
yeah, and that would
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
trivial to expose. That exists all today
I
on
think that would solve a lot of my concerns, at least. Because
yeah,
I see what you mean. Like if you're trying to promote half of a workbook,
yeah. It's sort of a
I
weird
feel like it is complex.
yeah,
I just feel like a lot of the use cases are like, I want to put these three measures down out of a big complex thing,
totally.
and shooting that into a branch is going to feel terrible.
We could, I like that too. We could do that as the default, Jamie, of like the individual, just like the button. And then if you happen to be in a branch mode, maybe then we open up this type of functionality if we wanted to.
I think that'll make it so that no one sees it though, which is sort of the same problem we have already today. So like I think we should add I like the idea a lot of having the button in. It was like kind of my first pass at this. So like I think that is reasonable, but we probably want to show somehow that you can also do the sort of more complex piece too.
I even think you could leave all the arrows and stuff like this.
Yeah.
It's more just like a little shortcut somewhere. I don't know. To just to clarify on this one,
Hmm?
this top checkbox is the same as this checkbox. It just
In,
would
in
collect
this
things
in this
under it.
case, although
Yeah, yeah, okay.
like you could potentially have metadata on the view too that could
Yep.
become like you could
What?
have change
Why is
there.
the color different on it?
This one's an updating. So you're updating this view object which exists in the shared model already. This one is a net new field. And
I see.
yeah, and if you remember today, the way the model changes work, it's not we have like badges for new objects and stuff too, but the logic basically was inconsistent. We didn't actually know whether or
Yep.
not this was an addition or an updating of a field. We looked at pieces of metadata content to try and infer it. Now we actually have sort of full context there. So this will be, I think this is a step forward, but it's still like it's hard because you really want the full like in some cases like you may need the full metadata or like the full YAML. We've talked about this before, like you want to swap
Yep.
it to be able to go show it. Yeah.
Got a demo. Let's see. Try and find the right thing to share.